Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and in this one we are testing the GeForce RTX 4060 in Monster Hunter Wilds. And yes, finally I'm getting to test this game. It took me a while, I know, because I didn't really want to purchase this game at this full price. It's pretty expensive, and the current performance of this game is pretty bad. That's why I didn't want to buy it. So it took me a while to get the game from someone else, and here it is. So we're gonna test it, and here are all the specs of the GPU. We have the Gigabyte Eagle OC model of the card, and we have the latest NVIDIA driver 572.70. Resizable bar is enabled inside BIOS. Over here in Task Manager, we have the Intel Core i7-13700K CPU as always. For memory, we have 64 gigabytes of DDR5 6000 megatransfers per second CL36. And finally, for MSI Afterburner, no overclocks are applied. Everything is set to stock settings. So let's get inside the game and check out the frame rates. So we are here inside the menu, guys, of Monster Hunter. And let me first turn down the audio volume a bit, the music volume. Okay. Now, as you can see, with the settings, I am running it at 1080p resolution at first. We have reflex turned on, VSync is disabled. And frame rate, there are no FPS caps at all. It's turned off, uncapped. And here in the settings, I'm gonna start it off with the medium settings preset first. And by default, it enables DLSS performance at 1080p. That's, horrible. We're not gonna use that, so I'm gonna disable that upscaling, and we're gonna use TAA. There's also FXA, TAA. We will just stick to the medium preset settings by default. I'm not gonna change anything. And there's more pages to the settings, as you can see. Every setting out there. Motion blur is turned off, vignette effect is turned off as well. So here we go, guys. I have played a little bit of the game, and right off the bat, 1080p medium, it just looks crap. I mean, the game only at 1080p resolution looks horrible. It looks like as if it's running at 720p. I won't lie. Like, this is the first impression you get. And it doesn't look good. And FPS, we're getting 44, 43 in medium settings at 1080p with a 4060. I expected at least like 70, 75 FPS. This is not good, guys. This is not good at all. Look at my beautiful character I have made. Isn't she beautiful? Looks gorgeous. But she looks kind of crap because of the settings right now and the resolution as well. And let's see what we have to do. This is the very start of the game. Gather honey provision. Fine. And I grab these.
Get away! Sorry about that. That should be enough, honey.
Okay, we got the honey, and FPS is even dropping below 40. 1% low is at 33. It's not smooth experience, guys. What are you doing, developers? This is an unplayable experience totally. At 1080p resolution, native 1080p, and they suggest you to use DLSS performance when you select the medium settings. That is unacceptable totally. And this is a very popular game. It's not like it's one of those games which nobody cares about. Well, technically I don't, because I am not interested in this game that much. And that's why I didn't even buy it.
Oh no.
I just got it from someone, thanks to him, for providing me access to this game to benchmark.
Gonna give me an earful.
But yeah, it's not a good experience.
Please, no.
I honestly don't know what settings should I test in this game, because at 1080p medium settings it runs horribly. I don't know how will we test 1440p even. Forget about 4K. So as they suggest you to use DLSS performance, let's look at that, how that is. It's gonna be horrible, trust me. So we're gonna use the medium preset and not make any changes to that, which is DLSS performance enabled by default. And also I'm gonna restart the game. Oh my goodness. This is how it's gonna look with DLSS performance, like nothing surprising. And FPS we are getting 70. This is what I was expecting from native medium settings, at least 70. And this is what we get with DLSS performance, and even ray tracing is not turned on. This is absolutely crap. Like, how can somebody play like this with these graphics? Explain it to me, developers. Absolutely hot
Don't walk
garbage.
too far off.
This is how they recommend you to play, by the way. It is so
Sorry
sharp,
we're late.
soft, so
We're
much
late, thank you.
aliased, the images, so much
I had a
flickering,
run-in with
noise,
a giant
everything
toad.
is there,
Might have been his lunch if
pixelation.
these people hadn't come along.
Hello, sir. On behalf of the...
I don't know
You
who
have
can
rescued
play
my
like
friend.
this.
However, your
It looks
visit
like
is
the
ill-timed.
game is running
I
at
must ask you
But
360p.
we owe them our
It is
hospitality.
actually, I
At
think.
least
One more thing,
At
which I am sure
performance,
you
I think it's rendering at
The
360p.
sacred are precious.
I'm not
Of
wrong.
course, they'll be returned to you at once. Thanks for letting us use them.
And even a 4060
We'll
is
be
struggling
fine
to get 100% GPU usage. Even at native, even without DLSS it was. And we don't even have ray tracing enabled. So I don't know what will happen if we enable ray tracing. There's also frame gen.
Seem to know what weapons
They
we're
also recommend you use that also.
Hey, wrong way.
I don't know, guys. How are you even playing this game with the 4060? Guys, I don't know what settings should I test now, because if we go any higher than medium, the game is gonna give us like 30 FPS or maybe even below that, who knows. So I guess we will stick to medium. So I'm gonna stick to medium preset, and we will switch it to DLSS balanced this time. And also I just now changed the DLSS model from the NVIDIA app to the latest. I forgot to do that in the previous one when it was running in performance, but right now it's using, I think it's using DLSS 4, most likely it should be. But even though in here inside game it still shows 3.7.10, I don't know why, it probably doesn't update it in the game UI. But yes, everything is set to the medium settings with balanced DLSS, and frame generation also I have enabled this time. So balanced DLSS should look a little bit better. And just so you know, I've also restarted the game, and as you can see, we are getting like 110 FPS almost. And this looks way better than performance DLSS, and the DLSS 3, it looks better than that. I mean, DLSS 4 looks better than that, obviously. And this is quite acceptable, I would say,
the
still.
guards at the gates.
And now the only thing remains is the input latency. Let's check that out.
Besides, didn't seem to know what weapons were either.
Input delay with the mouse, and I'm playing with the mouse and keyboard, so it will be easier to notice that. And it's not that bad. And if you play with a controller, you wouldn't be able to feel it anyway. It's quite good, not gonna lie. Frame generation implementation though.
These are blockchain.
You got giant ants here. I don't know what you call them. I'll call them giant ants.
Authorization granted.
You
The
gotta-
guard authorizes you to neutralize the threat.
You gotta fight these things. These giant ants. And as you can see, even in a fight scene, with the performance and balanced DLSS with frame gen on, we are not having any trouble. I can navigate and fight pretty well, and there is no stuttering or frame drops as well. I have no idea what the combos are in this game. I'm just pressing my mouse buttons, that's it. But yeah, I would say this is quite playable. Even the visuals, they don't look too bad with balanced DLSS. And I think if you use DLSS Qlty, it might be a bit worse, the input latency. I'm gonna try that after this. So I have just switched it to DLSS Qlty this time, with frame generation also enabled, DLSS frame generation. And all the settings are set to medium settings preset. And we are still getting 100 FPS. Earlier we were getting like 110, now it's like below 100 most of the time. But yeah, we can feel the input latency a bit more now.
Hey, wrong way.
The delay is there. Can you please tell me which side do I have to go? It keeps on saying wrong way. Just keeps pissing me off. Okay.
Those villagers don't have weapons.
And visuals also look pretty
This
good.
doesn't add up. They must have
DLSS
weapons.
quality is much more acceptable than
Maybe
performance.
they've got some kind of thing.
DLSS at 1080p. But the best thing is that DLSS 4 does a good job. That's why I can still accept it display. But this is not how you should be playing the game. It should be running at native resolution perfectly, at least with 70 FPS. Like the game, it doesn't look that hi-fi, to be honest. It looks just okay, decent looking game in my opinion. It's not the greatest looking of. Now you can look at my character pretty well. Pretty, isn't she? So I have restarted the game once again, and this time we're gonna try this with the medium settings preset as well, with balanced DLSS 4 applied and frame generation enabled. But this time we're gonna try it with high ray tracing. So let's check that out. It's gonna be interesting to see how much FPS we can get with ray tracing. VRAM is not that much high. It's at 4.9, as you can see. It's saying in the UI over there.
Yeah,
Wow, even with ray tracing set to high, how can we get 90 plus FPS? That's quite impressive though. But I don't know how much good looking this game is gonna be with ray tracing turned on even. I don't know what kind of ray tracing effects this game has. I'm not sure about that.
Maybe they've got
But
some
to
kind of
me,
thing
so
about
far
it.
it looks the same even with ray tracing and without it. So probably not that many effects are there.
Almost there.
And GPU usage is still dropping to like 94, 95. It doesn't just settle
I
down
miss the
at
secret
98 or
already.
99. So it keeps on going up and down all the time. And we are back at the base camp. Gonna play a cutscene, and I want to skip it. As you can see, guys, 85, 84 in this camp area is pretty demanding over here. But it's running quite good, and the input latency, I can't really feel it. Like, frame generation in this game is pretty good. As much as I hate to say it, I don't like frame generation. I'm not a fan of that, fake frames. But so far, I think I have seen the best implementation. Probably it's gonna be in this game. Like, we are getting 90 FPS, so probably we're getting like around 50 FPS without it, without frame generation we'll be getting. And with a sub 60 FPS turning on FG and not having any noticeable delay is quite good in my opinion. I think that's why they emphasize so much on asking you to enable frame generation in this game. So one more settings I want to test is the high graphics settings preset with DLSS. I'm gonna manually change it to quality. It sets it to balance by default, and we are using DLSS 4, which is by overriding in the NVIDIA app, and we're gonna disable frame generation. We don't need that, and everything else set to high preset settings. And we are getting sub 60 FPS already, as you can see. And I think high settings looks pretty good compared to medium. There's a big jump in texture quality already, I can notice, and also the lighting is pretty good. Shadows are also looking quite great than before, and the FPS is sub 60 obviously, and there is constant stuttering, as you can see in the frame time graph. And this is one of those games like Stalker 2 also. You need to enable frame generation to get rid of all those stutters and get a smooth frame time graph, and that's what we are gonna do
That's not
also
where we need to go.
after this. But let me play this like this for a while. And whom do I need to talk with? Village office to talk to Jack. This guy is Jack?
Hey there.
Yes. As you can see, we're getting constant stuttering, and oh, I thought I died there by falling. Where's my mount? That bird, where is it?
The
We have
support team must be
to
in trouble.
walk all the way. And I'm also gonna try this with the DLSS frame generation enabled, with the DLSS set to quality using the high graphics preset settings without any ray tracing whatsoever. Obviously, we just ignore that ray tracing. This DLSS frame generation implementation is pretty good in this game. That's why I am trying
Move those
this.
hindquarters.
with frame generation as well, and so far it's looking pretty good. And playing also pretty good. Input latency, I'm gonna go into the fight and then check it out.
The support team must
But
be
for
in
now, it's
trouble.
pretty good. Even though we're getting like 70 FPS input latency,
Hold on,
obviously it's
everyone.
there,
I'm
but
coming to help.
it's something you can get used to, I assume, and I expect. And if you're gonna play with a controller, just forget
There they
about that. It won't be noticeable at all. Skip.
Authorizes him to hunt
Oh
the
my
chemicals.
goodness, what is
Protect the
this?
support team.
Chicken-like creature? Kinda looks like chicken. Okay, and as you can see, FPS is dropping to like 60 with DLSS range, and keep that in mind. And my camera is locked into this monster. And obviously there is some input latency, but I still cannot feel it when it drops to like 60 FPS. It's pretty impressive, the frame generation in this game. I think I would play it like this with this GPU. I am not lying. So I wasn't gonna do 1440p testing, but I am still gonna do it because at least I should include 2 resolutions in a video. So here it is, 1440p resolution, as you can see, and we're gonna use the low settings preset, and it by default sets it to ultra performance DLSS. I'm gonna switch it to balanced mode because I'm just gonna use ultra performance and let alone performance. And everything is set to low. We will also try frame generation after this. Now, to be honest, 4060 is not a 1440p GPU by any means. It will always struggle in many newer titles, and in this one it even struggles more, as you can see. Even with low settings with the DLSS balance, we are somehow touching that 60 FPS, but it's gonna be most of the time below 60, as you can see. Average will be around 57, 58. So that's what you have to deal with if you have a 1440p panel with this GPU. And luckily there is no fall damage, so we can just jump off there. So we started fighting that chicken over there in the previous clip. We need to finish him off. Let's go ahead and see how the fighting sequence is with these settings, and it's dropping to 44, as you can see. This area is even more demanding with all these monsters around. 44, 46, and I assume it's gonna be very difficult to play and fight this thing with these kind of FPS. I'm gonna still try to. And do these monsters have a health bar? I can't see that. Whoa. Come on. Die. It has a giant tail. It is a fiery monster as well. You know what? We're gonna ignore it as always and just run around for the benchmarking. And it's chasing us. Oh no, that's not good. Still chasing us, but anyway, as you can see, it dropped to like 44 there, close to that monster, and now it's again back up to 60 FPS. You can play it this way if you want, but I'm also gonna try this with DLSS frame generation now. And up next, we're gonna use the low settings preset again, but this time we're gonna use DLSS Qlty with frame generation enabled. Let's see how it goes. And here are all the settings. As you can see, everything is set to low preset. And here we go at the camp area. We are dropping to like 77, 76, below 80. When looking that way, it does give us 80 FPS because there's nothing up there. And yeah, the input latency is a bit noticeable. Yeah, it is a lot noticeable, I would say.
Well,
And it's gonna get worse as we go down close to that monster. Let's go ahead and see, because let's look at it practically, right? Can't just look up from there how much performance we're gonna get down here. So let's go close to that monster, the chicken monster. And with frame gen, we're getting 60 FPS over here. It's very bad. It's ugly.
There are a lot of monsters.
Don't play it like this. I'm just doing this for fun and testing. That's it. And yeah, it's gonna probably drop to 50 FPS maybe. Gonna put a few hits on this guy. And the textures, my goodness. Obviously it's low settings. It can go even lower, that is the lowest. But we won't try lowest because we don't want PS2 graphics, right? In this generation. No matter what the performance we get. But yeah, it didn't drop to 50, which is nice. It still stayed above 60 even with frame gen. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Do leave a like if you enjoyed and if this video helped you. Also make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I wasn't really expecting this kind of performance from the 4060, as I have been saying throughout the video. I expected a little bit better, but I am more interested in testing the 4070 Ti Super in this game. I did that in the, I think probably in the alpha stage of the game, or whatever that was, open beta, I don't remember. But I will test it in this full game up next, and we'll be posting the video shortly. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Till then, take care and bye bye.